Okay, so I just had one hell of a night. I'm at a Motel Inn on my way to my sister's wedding. Nothing out of the ordinary happened on my way here. I was chilling in my car alone, listening to some audiobooks that I like to revisit sometimes when I just want to listen to something, but still be able to drift off into my own little world. I had just listened through a couple of chapters of Dan Brown's book, The Lost Symbol, when I arrived at the motel parking lot. It was damp and quiet when I stepped outside my car. The only things you could hear was the dripping of raindrops falling through the leaves and soft music coming from a radio in the reception's front desk, where an older man with grey hair was doing his crossword and drinking from what I suspect one of many cups of coffees he consumes throughout his shifts. I walked into the motel reception to get my room ready. Also to ask the man where the nearest place I could buy cigarettes from was. "No need, sir. You can take mine," he said, as he put a pack of red Marlboro into my hands, along with a key to my room. "My daughter announced her pregnancy earlier this evening, so my wife wants me to quit smoking so I can be around for the little one," he said with a happy chuckle. After congratulating him on the great news, I accepted the cigarettes and room key with a small bow that I picked up from my time working in Asia. When I walked outside to search for my room, I saw him. In a busy city, you would barely notice him, but at a motel in the middle of nowhere, he stood out like a candle in a dark room. It was a silver-painted man, sitting hunched down with his silver matching hat covering his eyes, being completely still. I suppose he wanted to look like a statue of some sort, but the rain had been starting to wash off that spray paint he had on his skin. I was walking to my room at the end of the building, keeping an eye on him the whole time, hoping he wouldn't do any sudden moves to startle me. But he just sat there, completely and absolutely frozen. I managed to unlock my room with trembling hands as I kept watching the silver-painted man still sitting there, completely quiet. As I got in, I threw my bags on the dusty bed, creating a tiny storm of dust making it through my room. When I finally managed to let out a sigh of relief. I hate traveling alone, especially now as the paranoia has started to come back. To relieve my anxiety, I walked to the bathroom window at the far end of the room to crack it open so I could sneak a cigarette without the need to leave and see the man. When I was about to take my last drag of nicotine goodness, I heard something ruffling through the woods behind the motel. I thought, hell no, and quickly put out the cigarette on the bathroom sink and closed the window. Went to the motel phone to call the front desk to ask if they could remove the creepy man sitting outside my room. "Hello, Mr. Connors. Everything is alright with the room, I hope," said the old man after a loud sip of his coffee. Yes, the room is fine, but I have a complaint about the silver man," I replied, not knowing how odd it sounded. "The silver man?" he replied with clear confusion in his voice. "Yes, the creepy silver man sitting outside my room," I said with irritation. "I'm sorry, sir, but you were the only male guest here tonight." An expression of confusion and fear had frozen upon my face as a chill rolled down my spine. As I stood there quietly, trying to figure out if the long drive had made me so tired that I might have imagined him, I heard the old man yell from the phone. "Sir, are you still there?" "Yes, sorry. Everything is fine, thank you. Have a good night," I said as I ended the call. With fear of losing my sanity, I had to know for sure if I had imagined the silver man or not. So I went to the window next to the door to see if I could see him from there. Sure thing, I could still see him sitting there, hunched forward like he was trying to make himself look like a roll of tape. His face still wet from the rain, with silver paint fading by the minute. This had now started to make me angry, so I went outside to confront him, but not a single reaction came from the man after I slammed the motel door open. Is he sleeping? I wondered as I slowly walked over to him. When I approached him, noticed something was very odd with the position he was sitting in. He had his hands behind his back, while resting his head floating in the air, inches from his crotch. He must really be drunk to fall asleep like that, I thought. "Hey man, are you okay?" I asked, without getting any reply. I leaned forward to get a better look at him, which is when I noticed the small drops of blood dripping from his nose into his crotch. My heartbeat started to race as I quickly stepped backwards away from him, then started to run towards the reception desk for help. "Call 911, I yelled as I stumbled my way into the reception desk, where the old man greeted me with a surprised expression. "Why? What happened?" he said, confused. "Call 911 now! There is a man bleeding outside my hotel room," I yelled, with panic in my voice. As the motel receptionist called 911, I grabbed a bunch of napkins, thinking I could use it to maybe stop the bleeding. I turned the corner from the reception office, where the motel rooms are, quickly to get the man's aid. When I noticed he had now fallen completely over, and the hat had rollen off, I could now see his face clearly. The blood that I had seen dripping from his nose came from his open eye sockets. The man was dead. Police arrived shortly after the phone call from the motel clerk. They questioned us about what we've seen during the night, but all I can think about is the expression of the dead man, of how his existence in this world has just vanished, and all he left behind was his body painted for entertainment, but like an empty candy wrapper. All the good is now gone. I'm now back in my room, tired as hell, and ready to go to sleep. I had just brushed my teeth when I noticed the bathroom window was open. Below it, inside the bathtub, I saw a black business card. After quickly closing the window, I picked it up. All it said was, "If you enjoyed tonight's entertainment, please visit the website to see more," with a web link and a signature signed, "The Entertainer."